happy little dance while everything goes live. Okay, so we are going live for platforms again with Lily of the Light, and we are going to be talking about self care through the Advent calendar. We are on day 12 or 13, something like that. And it is using my childhood Advent calendar using symbolism from the ornaments that are hung on that with just snaps to talk about the importance of self care and the different ways to do self care during the Advent season, a different ornament every single day. So today we have a candy cane. Now, one of the very important things about candy canes that I was unaware of is that you can get all natural candy canes that are colored with like cabbage or beet, which I did not know that. And they do not taste like cabbage or beet. They taste like a candy cane because I am allergic to food dyes. And so I was really bummed that I couldn't eat any this year. And no, you can get an all natural one, and that is awesome. So, first is that there are always alternatives or substitutes to what you could be doing or eating. You don't have to go with the unhealthy choice if you don't want to. And again, healthy, unhealthy, positive, negative are all very vague terms to be talking about what we're doing during this holiday season. So with the candy cane, I want to talk about indulgence and how indulgence, when done in a monitored and very mindful way, is actually okay. The idea of withholding things from yourself all day, every day, all year is not a healthy way to function, is not how you will go about being the most authentic version of yourself. It allows a lot of self-hatred and judgment and resentment through yourself to withhold things all the time. And this time of year, of course, we are eating sweets and candies and hot chocolate and all of that wonderful stuff. And you can do it, you can indulge in a mindful way. So when indulging with your candy cane symbolism, you are very mindful of what you're eating and also why. You are not justifying what you're eating. You're also not punishing yourself for what you're eating. Oh my God, I have to go on the treadmill again because I ate a cookie. No, you don't. No, you don't. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. A really important thing about indulging yourself during this holiday season as a part of your self-care, which means it has to care for yourself and not hinder or sabotage yourself in any way, because that is not self-care, is to give yourself a timeline. So if you want to give yourself one day where it's like, okay, this is a 24-hour period in which I will indulge, great. You should know when you're starting and also when you're stopping. You should be aware of that and set that goal and then stick with it, because there are so many times that we fall off the food wagon and then we just create or fall back into unhealthy habits. That's not the point of indulging for self-care. The point of indulging for self-care is to give yourself something special and small and fabulous, no matter what it is or what time of year it is. So some people will indulge a few times a year, sometimes over like the Christian holidays. So things like Christmas and Easter, and then obviously Thanksgiving is another one. But you can choose when to indulge and when not to, and also what to indulge. We talk a lot about food when it comes to indulging, but that is not the only thing that you can indulge in. You can indulge in trash TV. As those of you who have watched before, you know that Love is Blind is trash, absolute trash, and I love it. I have watched every season and I have opinions about every season. Thank you. It is empty calorie TV and I watch it. That is how I indulge. Hello, Raven Rising. I love me some good cabbage and onion. Yeah, it's you can make it healthy. So if you're indulging, indulge, have fun. Again, do not binge eat, do not emotion eat, do not board eat. Don't do any of those things that actually aren't self-care. But if you want to indulge and give yourself a little treat, 100% do it without shame or judgment. And a timeline that you can jump back onto your not diet, not healthy lifestyle, to your regular routine. You need to have a cutoff date to jump back on to your regular routine. And this happens a lot like around the holidays, like I said, but this also happens a lot with when we get sick. Now, when you're sick, be sick and do whatever you need to get better. And then set a time. It's like, okay, I'm going to start easing back into my regular routine, not health, not diet, not anything like that. Your regular routine. Ease back into that. And then from there, this is the date that I'm going to give myself that I will have everything back in order. So for those of you watching, know that I took a break a few weeks ago because I worked so hard during my busy season that I came dangerously close to burnout this year. That was my own fault. I make mistakes. I'm so sorry. I'm human. I know it's disappointing. Me too. But I'm still not back to like doing my normal routine. I'm slowly adding things in so that I can do it in a sustainable way. Because if I went from doing nothing and just taking a break to doing everything again, I would not have done well. I would not have continued. I would have hated a lot of it, and I might have hated some people too. There would have been some things said out of real bitchiness. So being aware of all that is super important while moving forward through this with your indulgence as part of your self-care. The other thing is that indulgence doesn't have to be eating cookies or pie or spending a bunch of money or giving up your exercise routine. It can also be healthier substitutions for your indulgence. Like I said, for the candy canes, there are food dyes that are cabbage and beet, which means that I can have this treat again, which makes me very happy because I missed it for the few years since I've become allergic to food dyes. So it's about those types of things, just to be aware of that there are healthy substitutes. You could eat low calorie, you could eat diet, you could eat keto, whatever you want. I am sure that there are food substitutions for you, but you have to be mindful and do the work and do the research for yourself. So if you go somewhere and you expect them to have your alternative without you saying that you need a substitute, without you doing the research first, that is not fair. I have been to so many events and parties where someone goes, "There's nothing here for me." Bitch, did you tell them that you had allergies? No, then they don't know to make sure that the food is separated and the nuts aren't in the room. I had Thanksgiving with my friend's family, and they did not make me a dessert because they made dessert for their family because it was their family holiday. And I brought my own dessert. I brought half a French silk pie. I went to the store, I got a fancy French silk pie, and I brought that, and that's what I ate because it's not their job to make sure that I feel like that's a very toxic thing, but also like a very Midwest thing where it's, you have to accommodate everyone's needs. No, if they do not tell you what their dietary restrictions are, their allergies are, their mobility issues, and all of a sudden they come and it's not catered to them, that's a them problem. And I want to be clear before everyone comes and bites my head off. I am saying this as a disabled person who has a giant list of allergies. I recently had to send my allergy list to a friend because he wanted to give me cookies, which, by the way, yes, cookies that had chocolate on them, but they had almonds. And so I had to say no, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit. But I just sent him my list, and I was like, God, I have a lot of food allergies at the moment. And if you include the environmental allergies and then the medication allergies I have, the list it's so long. I do not expect anyone to understand, remember, or put that first. Granted, if you try and shove a nut down my throat, I will be incredibly pissed and probably bite you. So when being indulgent, you need to take care of you. Self-care is about the self. So if you're being indulgent, set it up so that you're indulging yourself, not that you are expecting others to indulge you without letting them know your prerequisites first, whatever they are, whether they're dietary, whether they're mobility, whether it's mental health. You have to be able to advocate for yourself during this holiday season. I am so sorry. Do not keep the peace. No, if it's, I shouldn't say my needs because I want to keep the peace and I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to cause a problem. Cause a problem. Because you should have your accommodations, but you have to voice them. You have to be empowered enough to say, hey, I need a ramp. There are times when I have my walker or my braces or something and I can't do something. I am 100% that person who will go, I can't open the door because my arm no longer does a twisty twist. Someone has to open the door for me. And they do because I advocated. Because if you're vocal about it, then yes. However, if you are going anywhere and you're like, I just assume that everyone should cater to me, that's not self-care. You need to be able to ask for the accommodations, and you need to be able to advocate for yourself. And you also need to be able to set up whatever kind of indulgence or accommodation you want in advance for yourself. The assumption that people are going to remember puts a lot of weight on other people, especially when they don't live with it. I have been sick since I was 14. I've had chronic illnesses since I was 14. My best friend forgets that I'm disabled. She, bless her cotton socks, she remembers every single food allergy. Booyah. But she forgets that, like, I have mobility issues. She'll look at me and I'll be like, as I'm trying to like do something that takes minimal effort, but for me, it takes a lot of effort. And she'll go, oh, that's right. You're sick. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm fine with that. It should not be at the top of her mind. I would rather her think, oh, that's Lily, weirdo, business owner, psychic medium. Absolutely. Instead of Lily, weak, pathetic, compromised immune system, may die if someone coughs on them. Yeah. No, I would rather people see me, but that just means that I have to advocate for myself. And no matter what, you should advocate for yourself and your accommodations, whether they are substitutes or healthier options for your indulgent with the candy cane theme of the night. It's being able to do things so that you're enjoying them. If you are going to feel shame and guilt from your indulgence in cookies, then you need to find a substitute so that you are not feeling shame and guilt in that form of self-care. And it's the same with any other kind of substitute or accommodation or anything that you need, is that it needs to empower you. It needs to make you feel good. Understanding that asking for things can be very uncomfortable. And honestly, the shitty thing is, I'll tell you what, practice makes perfect. It is so unfair. But you will get, I remember when I was young and it mortified me to have to act. I went without to the point where I would like injure myself on a regular basis, like really injure myself, because I never wanted to ask for an accommodation. I never wanted to tell something that it was too heavy for me to lift and it would pull my joints out. I didn't want to ask for help. So I didn't, because I wanted to be normal and it was too much. And now I am the first and to ask for accommodations at any event, at any party, at anything. And that took time, like, to get over me being uncomfortable. And it just happened with me doing it over and over and over again. And quite frankly, it will also happen if your accommodations get like severe enough that you have to have them. When I was on the blocks and filming, I had to demand to have a fridge in the room for my medication that had to be refrigerated. They had to buy a cute little mini fridge for me for my medication while I was filming. And some of the people were like, oh my gosh, this is like a lot. And the people who were doing it were like, yep, but this is what it is. So it was a huge hurdle. And yet I asked for it, I demanded it, I got it. And guess what? Medicine is yummy when you are sick. And so it's being able to do that. It's being able to know yourself well enough and love yourself enough to be self-aware that you know what you need in the present moment, but also like pre-gaming, like also understanding that you need things in the future and setting that up. So if I ever go somewhere and my mobility issues are flaring and I have my walker or like a cane, I will tell the people ahead of time, hey, just a heads up, I have my walker today, so stairs are a hard pass. So whatever we're doing it on one floor if I'm coming. And if you can't do it on one floor, that's fine. I won't come because I'm not crawling up the stairs. I have a little bit more self, just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit more than I can do for that. So it's just being open to all of those things when you're indulging, when you're doing everything that you need to do. I think that this is a big one for people advocating for themselves with indulging and not indulging and having the substitutes and accommodations. Go forth, be the hero of your own story. Remember that tomorrow we will be tuning in again to do another ornament. We are officially halfway to Christmas. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. And remember that if you are having trouble advocating for yourself, for your accommodations, if you are having trouble with getting your indulgence in the way that you want, link in the bio. I am always here to help. Let's have you have the most magical Christmas possible without derailing your self care.